Konnichiwa, and welcome to Tsuki no Ame, where we try Japanese sweets and treats. Today we have two treats to try from Japan Candy Box, and these are both ones where the name it kind of says it all. The first we're going to try, this is our Kit Kat Double Berry and Nuts Chocolate, and yes, that is how they have it in their little pamphlet. As the name implies, this has berries and nuts involved. And it's a Kit Kat, and that's pretty much everything that they're saying. We're also going to try our Black Thunder Caramel Butter Sandwich Choco Bar. Again, as the name implies, this is a Black Thunder bar. It is caramel and apparently butter cookie flavored. From what I remember, Black Thunder bars are they're made with like cookie chunks that are stuck together with chocolate. They are kind of interesting. It's been a while since we've done one. I'm very curious to see how this turns out. I do really enjoy caramel, so I do think it's got the potential to be very good. So with all that in mind, let's get started. Itadakimasu! So starting with our Kit Kat Double Berry and Nuts Chocolate. Sometimes it doesn't want to open the way I want it to. Oh, ours broke. That's okay. Again, these ship all the way from Japan. I'm always impressed at how little breakage we get, so it does smell pretty good. I find it kind of interesting. So since it did break, we do get to see this. I don't know how well you can tell with my camera, but the cream filling in this Kit Kat is pink. So I'm pretty sure that the cream in here is going to be where we're going to get our berry flavor. It smells really good. All right. So first question, as always, is it waxy? Just a bit. Japanese Kit Kats do tend to be a bit on the waxy side. I do feel like we've had a lot more waxy Kit Kats in the past. There are some that have been particularly bad. I don't think this is one of the worst for it, but it's definitely a touch waxy. That said, flavor-wise, I'm not sure how much of the nuts I was really getting, but I definitely could taste the berries. And I kind of wish they told us, which berries were involved, but it had a really nice fruity flavor to it. That's really tasty. If you're somebody who enjoys kind of those fruits and chocolate flavors, think like the raspberry chocolates, things like that. I would say the orange chocolate sticks, but since it's berry, it tastes a lot closer to like the raspberry ones. If you enjoyed those kinds of fruit and chocolate combinations, you might really enjoy it. As I said, this is probably one of the least waxy of the Kit Kats that we've had. But it's still definitely, I feel like when it comes to the Kit Kats, you do have to kind of like the flavor uh, that's in there just because that's really the appeal is just how well they capture the different flavors. So this is definitely one where you have to like that fruit and chocolate combination. But if you enjoy that, you might really like this. I do think it's pretty tasty. I am one of those people who likes that. I think it's pretty great. So moving on to our Black Thunder Caramel Butter Sandwich Choco Bar. That is such a mouthful to say every single time. Okay. I don't think they like me very much today. Okay. This just hit me. As I was trying to, get this open, there was just this shot of, uh, pure caramel scent that came from the package, which is always a good sign. Yeah, it has a very strong caramel scent. This is excellent. I am very excited, which is a good thing because it is slightly waxy to the touch. Um, Thunder bars do tend to be waxy. In fact, actually, I'd say they tend to be worse than Kit Kats about that. But that caramel smell is really good. It's nice and strong and just lovely and sweet. Kind of what you'd hope for. So, I don't know how well you can see this, but you can if you can probably tell this is kind of made by taking crunched up cookies and sticking them all together, which means that, it's kind of on the dry side. Um, Personally, I tend to like other things over the Black Thunder bar. I tend not to enjoy those kinds of treats, quite so much as some other ones, but they're also not bad. It's one of those where I'm not gonna pick it if I go to the store, but if it's offered to me, I'm not going to refuse it, if that makes sense. Um, just to give a little bit of context. So, again, the chocolate is a bit waxy. That said, there's not a ton of the chocolate in there. And then you get into, kind of the cookie parts that have been stuck together and fused. And as I said, it's a bit dry. It does have a nice crunch to it. I just personally am not a fan. Um, if you like kind of those protein bars, it's kind of reminiscent of some of those. Um, which again, I just don't, but I know there are people who do. So you might really enjoy the texture of it if you enjoy those sorts of things. Flavor-wise, though, this is probably one of the better Black Thunder bars that we've had because it has really nice caramel to it. And for the most part, that's pretty dominant. But as I was kind of getting through the bite, I did start getting some of that kind of butter cookie in there, which was really pretty good. They worked really well together. Uh, you know, Honestly, caramel chocolate and cookie is just really classic combination. And so flavor-wise, I do think it works. So personally, I don't particularly care for the texture, but I really enjoy that flavor combination. Black Thunder, it's one of those where that texture is pretty solid and standard. Um, so if you do enjoy those, then it's definitely a brand you might want to watch out for, so long as you keep in mind that the black chocolate is definitely on the waxy side of things. Uh, but they do have a pretty consistent product as far as like the texture, and then it's a matter of finding a flavor that you enjoy. And this one, I definitely really like it. I would definitely recommend if you're somebody who enjoys, caramel and butter cookies and things like that. Gochu-sama. So to recap, we tried our Kit Kat Double Berry and Nuts chocolate. Didn't find a ton of the nuts in there. It is a touch waxy, but nowhere near as bad as a lot of the other Kit Kats that we've had. The berry flavor in here, I wish they told us kind of which mix of berries they use. I was having trouble. I couldn't tell you what they used, but it is really nice and has that lovely fruity flavor to it that works so well with chocolate. If you enjoy that fruity chocolatey combination, you might really enjoy it. Definitely recommend. We also tried our Black Thunder Caramel Butter Sandwich Choco Bar. Oh, such a long title. Every single time. Which was really pretty good. Um, Black Thunder, again, it's that kind of cookie bunched together base that is kind of reminiscent of some of those protein bars out there, texture-wise. Flavor-wise, this was really pretty good. The caramel, really nice and strong. You had that crunchy butter cookie in there that worked really well together. I think this is probably one of the best Black Thunder bars that we've ever had. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like my shirt, the link for that is down in the description below. And please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Johnny.